What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another MMA superstar. This time we get to talk to Lorenz Larkin, a former Strikeforce and UFC standout, now fighting for Bellator MMA. He's got a big fight coming up against Muhammad Berkhamov, and I hope I pronounced that gentleman's name right. It's coming up here at Bellator 283. What's going on, Lorenz? How are you?
Nothing much, man. I can't pronounce the name. I don't even pronounce it.
I know it is kind of tough, but I think I'll get a B for that one. Hey, listen, I know that interviews aren't your favorite thing, but at the same time, what we try and do here is make sure that every fighter, I guess, has the platform to kind of get out what they want, And here's what I'm getting at.
Well, you guys aren't bad. You can't lump yourself in with my outlook on interviews. You guys are one of the rare few. There's only about a handful of people that I even like to mess with.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, see, here's the thing. So some are I know the comment section is gonna go, there goes George starting crap again. But at the same time, I want Lorenz to wear gold, right? And Jason Jackson just did an interview with MMA Junkie. He says the way he sees it, him and Douglas Lima are for the number one contender. And I'm going, well, wait a minute. Possibly, I suppose Bellator will have a decision here. But Lorenz has paid his dues. He's got a lot of skins on his wall. He's got a 6-fight win streak going. How about you, man? What do you got to say to that? Let's start with that.
Hey, just keep fighting me. I'm happy with my next fight right now, and hopefully I get my third one in the end of December, somewhere by then. And I'm done with I'm just exhausted with the whole who deserves a title shot, because words don't mean nothing, man, these days. Mm-hmm. I was already it's already been documented, that my next fight was supposed to be for the title, and obviously that didn't happen, and I wasn't hurt. So, now I'm just at the point where I'm just like, keep me active. I've been trying to state this for like 7 years now. Just keep me active. And I never was active. I always fought like 2 times a year. So at this point, I'm just like, another fight 3 months after mine, and then I'll look towards the end of the year for my third fight. That's all I care about. They can fight about who wants to fight for the title if they want. I give 2 shits.
Oh, wow. Okay. But you're not saying that at the end of the year, the career is a wrap, right? You're just saying you just want to, your mind's just focused on 2022, that what you want for 2022.
Yes.
That's fair. And you know what? Along the way, it may happen, it may not. I'm just saying, I see someone that's very deserving and has been very deserving, and I want to make sure that I think the public understands that.
6 fight, the public should know. Your boy's on 6-fight win streak. At 170 and 85.
I know. At 185, fought some very good fighters. Today I was just working on the rankings for USA Today Sports and MMA Junkie. And so I have all my cells of what's happened since I've been doing this in 2013. And I recognize some of the guys that are still around that you've beaten, and we used to talk about remember the narrative back in the day, like, hey man, you want to win over Robbie Lawler. Are you going to cash that ticket in or whatever? We used to bug you about that, but now it's a whole other organization. But man, I can't believe how you've had 8 fights in Bellator already. So you've had a really, really good career there. And again, it's backed by this win streak you're on. All right. So enough of that. Let me ask you this. At 35, what's the body feel like when you go through a training camp? Is it the same as 25? Have you learned to train smarter, or are those bumps and bruises harder to come back from?
Well, hold on. Before I answer this question, what's up, Junkie Nation? It's been a minute, but your boy hasn't forgot about you. What's up? Second of all, I've been blessed to, and you can just look back at my fights. I haven't really taken damage like that. You know what I mean? Like, yes, like we're gonna keep it real. Like, yes, I've been TKO'd and things like that, but I've never taken like damage. Like, you never see me come out of a fight where I'm just like busted up, nose busted, eye busted, and black eyes. like I never took damage like that, and luckily, I've never, you know, had like a severe injury either. Never tore anything or broke. I maybe broke like the little boxing breaks in your hand, but that's normal. But nothing serious, and I've always pretty trained. I always trained smart, and I've always listened to my body and never pushed it. And I guess my style is more of a slicker style. So I never really taken damage like that.
Nobody goes into a fight at 100%. But
No.
how many times have you gone into a fight in the 90 to 100% range where you're fairly healthy and you get through these camps all right?
Um, Most of the time, man, I'm never like I might have like a small little like thing that's bugging me, but nothing that's never been like, oh my god, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through this fight. So I've had a pretty good career with injuries
What
and
motivates
training.
Sorry about that. What motivates you nowadays? Is it the same stuff as when you were younger? What money, uh, gold belts, or fame, or family? I don't know, legacy, putting Riverside on the map. What motivates you?
Uh, First things first is always Riverside. Second, it's just fighting. Like I got into fighting because I like the way I felt fighting. And it never was like for the belt or anything like that. I've always just was able to turn something that I was doing, maybe on the street, and turning it into something productive, and still getting that feeling. So that's that, and just being that fighter that never took the safe way. I I think you can just look back and be like, you know, Lorenz Larkin never took in the safe way of fighting. I've always fought who was thrown at me. I've always fought the best of the best. So as long as for me, that's my Hall of Fame, is being the guy who never took the safe way of fighting.
Yeah, and I would say one of the more impressive things is you've done it at 3 weight classes too. Like, not too many people can brag about that.
Yeah.
All right, but you did say the last time middleweight you felt it, even though you came away with the win over Carvalho. You're like, oh man, I noticed the difference. Would you say that that's the last time you would do it, or can you dabble and be a late minute replacement because it's 15 pounds higher?
I mean, my thing is, I was just talking. I had another interview, and he asked me kind of the same thing, and I was just telling him, like, when I came over to Bellator, I told him, if there's something exciting at 85, like I'm down for it. But the only thing is like, that's why I'm going back to 70. Is it gets to a certain extent to where the guys do get big. There are, just like there's some small 170 pounders, and then there's some big 170 pounders, and that's in any weight class. So with the right fight at 85, it makes sense. Like, I'm not opposed to it at all. Especially if it's like a fan friendly type of fight, where it's exciting fight for the fans. I'm all down for that. But then it gets to the point where there are some big guys, and I can only put on so much weight, from going, fighting at that, and they're putting on way more than I could put on. So that's when it gets like that, when you're trying to get more serious in 85. But I think for the right fight that makes sense, I'm down for having another fight at 85. It just has to be, the right fight.
I was checking your Instagram prior to the interview, and there's some cool stuff there. You're a very private guy, and you recently started putting pictures of your daughter, and I thought that was cool. And then another one that stood out, going back to that Riverside Pride, I guess one of your homies is the chief of police.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
tying it into my question, well, actually, let's talk about that. Do you get any privileges if there's a fire? Like, you got some sort of a backbone to him, or?
No, I haven't used no I haven't used no phone call yet.
Yeah, because
that's a good thing.
I cut through La Sierra sometimes. I think that's still Riverside.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing
Yeah.
something one time because my parents live close to that area. But anyway, all jokes aside, what I wanted to ask you really was, I don't see you travel too much out of California, if anything, to get your training in. You bounced around in some gyms in SoCal. Talk about that loyalty. Was that more just because you needed to be close to family? You believe a lot in your team? I've noticed other fighters will even go coast to coast or leave their country, but that hasn't been the case with you.
Yeah, with me, I've always looked at it like, you it's hard because if you're just the guy who just travels all the time, these gyms don't it's not like they don't hold no bond to you. You know what I mean? You're just going in there training. So, and a lot of these guys, they go to these different gyms and they're training with guys that they could potentially fight or training partners of guys that potentially fight. And for me, I just want it to be. I mean, I think it's hard enough to even train for somebody like me, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna just bounce around, and let these guys know what I like to do and 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 those type of things. But I have gone to gyms that I've had relationships with. Actually, was it the last fight? Yeah, it was the last fight. No, or maybe it was I'm not sure if it was a Cavill fight or my last fight, but I went to Syndicate for a little while. I got a good relationship with John Wood, and he's cool, down to earth guy. And I came out to Vegas for a little bit and trained at their gym.
All right, I'm going to bring in Goes. He's got some questions for you as well. The third man in the booth. What's up, Goes?
Sorry about that. I was getting a massage. I'm good now. Hey, Lorenz, so what would you say has changed in this run? Has anything been done differently, camp-wise, mentally? Like, what are the changes that have allowed you to be so disciplined and go on the streak that you're on right now?
Just just the ability and I've been saying, I've been talking about trying to be active for. Yeah, it's been like 7 or 8 years. I kept talking about. I've never fought 3 times, so that's I've always talked about it and tried to voice it, and it's never came to fruition. So, um, this is a time where the timeline is looking good, and this is what I was saying that I wanted, and it's coming into fruition. So I was just like, let's get after it.
I have a feeling that when you do hang up the gloves, you're going to do something really fun and interesting. You've never really struck me as a guy that's just completely wrapped up with MMA. Like, you have so many other likes. What is it that you're gonna? I mean, if you don't mind sharing, or if you've given it much thought, but what do you see the future like? Maybe 10 years from now, what kind of things do you think you'll be doing?
Not too sure. Well, I know I have my company, so I don't know if you guys know, but I have a trucking company, a logistics company, and I don't know. My coach I always get in arguments with my coach because I really don't want nothing to do with MMA after fighting. So, but he's always like, "Nah, you watch, you'll see, you'll have either, you'll probably see some type of little baby, and you want to groom them into this fighter, see like an up and coming fighter that might have some potential, and put some time into him. But at this point, man, I don't want nothing to do with the gym. After fighting, no, at this time I'm like, no coaching. It'll be something totally different, other than my business that I have.
If you look up and down your record, and then you look at your opponents, they're both pretty impressive. But if you look individually at his opponents, like, is there anything that stood out to you? Any particular fight where you went, okay, I kind of understand where this guy's coming from, or this was a good test for him. What do you think of his road versus your road to get here?
I couldn't tell you, man. I mean, I know that he's 14 or 15-0, but I couldn't tell you the guys he's fought, other than I think his last guy was Willis. So my coaches look at the opponents way more than I do. I don't even I looked at his last fight, but other than that, I never watch any of his other fights. My coaches have, though.
What was more impressive, Paris, France, or Paris, California? I'm sure you've been to both now.
Oh,
Careful
man.
now, because our parents live in Paris. It's a sprawling community, man. A lot of big companies are relocating there, and housing's going up. So what's up?
You mean warehouses?
Warehouses, yeah. I mean, they got a lake. The other guy's got the Seine River, but the Seine River kind of stinks. But go ahead, compare them.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is what I will give Paris. For Paris being Paris, they have the strictest lake there is. Like, if your boat or Sea-Doo has a little bit of, like, a tad bit of water in it, you are getting rejected. So, for the boat people out there, they know what I'm talking about. You can't. A lot of strict places, they don't allow any type of water being in your bay, like by the motor or anything like that, because cross contaminations of I don't know, algae, or that can mess up their lakes. So they are the strictest. I've never seen anything stricter than Paris. But other than that, they have nothing on Paris, France.
Are you a water ski guy, Sea-Doo guy? What? I know you like motorcycles and fast moving vehicles. What about on the water?
No, I like boats. Yeah, I'm a boat guy. I'm a Sea-Doo guy too.
Yeah. All right. Stand up or sit down?
No, sit down. Sit down for sure.
Only lakes, or do you do it in the ocean?
I haven't tried the ocean yet.
Oh, come on. All right. So yeah, that's cute. What you do out there on the lake and the river?
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Sailboat in the ocean, huh?
But I did learn how to water ski in the ocean, and when I finally did it in the river, I was like, no wonder no one falls over there. The ocean's horrific. Skis. I learned on two wooden skis, and I took some bumps, man. And on the river, it was so easy. On one ski, you could almost do it blindfolded. But anyway, all right, we'll end here. I know you got massage time coming up. Did we cut into it, or do you still get the whole hour?
No, I've been going this whole time.
Oh, what? They're working on your toes and calves? We just can't see them?
Yeah, you can't see them.
Oh, all right. Well, then, yeah. I mean, you didn't even make any faces or anything, so they must not.
Oh, I've been holding them in.
Hit the deep muscles there.
Trust me, I've been holding them in.
All right, man. Thanks as always, Lorenz, for the time, and we wish you the best at Bellator 283. And again, man, we really feel like you deserve a title shot. So grab that mic and tell them, hey, it's time. I put in my dues to this sport, for crying out loud. And let Scott Coker know that active means engaging or ready to engage in physically energetic pursuits. That's the definition of active. That way he doesn't forget about you.
Hey, I'm telling you, man. So easy these days.
Thanks for the time. Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.